Dragonflight is right around the corner, like really right around the corner, and the age of add-ons might be going away. Not really, but who knows when you will be able to fiddle with your UI and make it as clean and sexy as ours again. You want it, huh? Then what are you waiting for? Bookmark this video since you will be coming back to it. They always come back. And sit tight because we will go over all of the add-ons you need to have a clean and sexy WoW experience. And in the making of a sexy gameplay experience, I was looking through CurseForge's list of infinite goodies for a combat text add-on. I had to use my keyboard buttons to type in some super secret and obscure keywords, combat text, and I came across Nameplate, scrolling, combat text, and the rest is history. Damage looks nice, crits look even better. I usually do this every few months to get a fresh addition to our roster of awesomeness, and hey, I'll tell you how to even set it up. But for sure wouldn't have known about this beauty without CurseForge's way of answering my call for a combat text add-on with a combat text add-on response. And who knows what other hidden gems lie there undiscovered. So go ahead and download the app from the description, as it will help us as much as it will help you. And cheers CurseForge for sponsoring the video. We will start off with the big kahunas, since I will be going into some details about how they are set up to have them look like what we are using. First, we start with the most obvious, and that is SUI. Start by going into the standard Blizzard menu first and click Interface, go to Raid Profiles and tick Use Raid Style Party Frames. This will make your party health bars all big, fat and juicy. You can adjust the size with the sliders at the bottom and also play with more settings here if you like. After that, once you have SUI installed, the first time you start it off, you get a prompt to install it. If not, simply type in chat /SUI and you'll get here. The settings we use in the general section keeps the theme dark, the font prototype and texture smooth. For the automation, repair, sell and delete are ticked. You can have the cosmetic ones ticked as well and also show FPS and MS. We didn't fiddle with the rest, but feel free to personalize it even more. Second, we have ThreatPlates, and this is gonna be long. Although you can set it up however you want to. To get it to look like ours, you will need to go into the Blizzard menu, Interface Options, and open up the ThreatPlates options. In the General tab, select the health bar view, go to the width and set it to 150, while the bar height will be 22. After this, scroll further down and in the foreground section, select the ThreatPlates bar texture, while the background will be set to ThreatPlates empty. The border and elite border will both be set to thin. Check the same as foreground option and set the background transparency to 100%. In the layout tab, change the offset Y to -10. In the coloring tab next, change the low color to a slightly darker green and the high color to a slightly darker yellow. Same thing further down, while also darkening the red for the hostile NPC's color. Darken the hostile PvP on self on option. Move to the warning glow for threat and darken the yellow and red for the medium threat and high threat respectively, just like before. Lastly, in the target tab, change the anchor to be top and the horizontal offset to -5. Dear God, this is long and my foot is getting cold! There are a bunch more settings to cover and we could be here all day, so here's what I'm gonna do. I will show you in order each window of this add-on with the settings you have to have. Pause the video and just copy them for yourself. Make sure the numbers are the same, colors are the same, and so on. See you in a bit! Whew, well, that was beefy. All of these are basically necessary to make the UI easier to look at, not stressful on the eyes with those bright colors, and basically efficient when you do content where you need to target individual mobs. Let's move on to something simpler. BigDebuffs has been an add-on we have been using for years. Although intended for PvP, it has great applications in dungeons as well. To easily make it so you can track the debuffs of your party, make sure your settings look like this. More importantly, have your dispellable CC at 100%, other CC at 60%, dispellable PV at 75%, as well as dispellable roots, other roots at 60%, warning debuffs at 80%, offensive debuffs at 50%, other debuffs at 30%, and interrupts at 55%. The reason for this is to quickly see what debuffs you can interact with by having them more evident on your screen. Next, the new addition is Nameplate Scrolling Combat Text. This one is quick. Make sure you have it enabled and all the other boxes were unticked. Set the animation speed to 1, abilities set to vertical down, same as auto attacks. Criticals will be vertical up for both of them, while the misses and parries and ladies and gents will be a fountain. And yeah, tick and big and crits cause big dick numbers are fucking awesome. Set the font to SUI, enable the outline and text shadow, scroll to the bottom and slide that sweet and big and crit scale slider to fucking max. WeakAuras is next, and this is something we could talk about for hours. We recommend you use whatever and however many WeakAuras you like. To get the WeakAuras you want, go to wago.io and search for what you want to have on your screen, or simply browse by category. The ones we recommend you have are rateability timeline and a spec WeakAura to help you track your procs, cooldowns and such. You can simply search with your spec name and get a bunch of results. A couple of people we recommend you check out, since they do WeakAuras for multiple specs, are Public, Ipse, Affinar, and Luxtos. They show almost the same things, just with a different look. Choose the one for your preference, since we probably use one from each of them. Details is another important one. If you want yours to look like ours, first of all, make sure you check the auto erase trash segments. Next, create a second window which you can align above or under the first one. We usually keep them next to the action bars, one showing damage done and the other healing done. Next, move on to the bars general section and change the texture to deground. Enable the border and set it to 0.10 and disable align text columns. Next, move to the bars text section. Check the text shadow for both sides, add a separator, we use the full stop. Next, change the section for skins and use the Save Skin Legion, and that's it. If you like doing dungeons a lot and want to keep track of your party's cooldowns, get OmniCD, which you can access by typing /OmniCD in the chat. We don't really use any specific changes, just make sure that in dungeons subsection you have it enabled. What we enjoy here are the party cooldowns that we can see attached to the frame, as well as the interrupts of each person. For your bags, get AdiBags. I keep the scale to 100 and bag height to 64%. Backpack is set to 20 and bank set to 8. These can usually be adjusted depending on your monitor resolution, so they fit better on your screen. In the filter section, I have unchecked every single possible box. I do have the currency plugin set to show my Cosmic Flux, Soul Ash, and Soul Cinders and Valor. The text font is SUI with the size 16. And last one in the section is Doom Cooldown Pulse. This is basically the flashing, fading icons you sometimes see on our screens for the basic cooldowns. Type /DCP in chat and you will get some very simple options. If you click unlock at the bottom, you can position it where you want it. We have it to the right hand side. Set the sliders like we have here, and if you like it, just lock it and then you are done. You can add or remove spells with the blacklist and whitelist options, but we made no changes there. Now that we are done with the big setups, there are plenty of other add-ons that make your life better, easier, more accessible. I won't go over all of them in detail here, since either most of them are installs and forgets, or the choices are very individual in the way you customize them, and we pretty much made no customization changes. Kicking it off, we have advanced interface options. This baby will bring back some old interface options you can play with, specifically the max camera distance. Angry Keystones makes the Mythic Plus UI more straightforward and helpful while also slapping your key in the little pedestal when you click on it. With it, Astral Keys works perfectly, especially if you run keys with guildies, friends, or simply want to see who has what key. For that, type !keys in chat and everyone who uses this add-on will reply with their key. Obviously, we cannot forget the most important add-ons for PvE mechanics. Big Wigs for raids and its dungeon counterpart Little Wigs. These will make tracking the mechanics easier and they are less invasive than DBM, which you can definitely go for instead. DBM is more obvious with bigger alerts and tells. Use your own preference. Additionally, we use Quartz for spellcasting bars. It makes them bigger and easier to spot, making timing for casts or interrupts way easiar to get. And speaking of, for those hardcore PvE activities, Focus Interrupt Sounds is an easy add-on to use that will play sounds when you can and need to interrupt a spell. To go with that, Method Raid tools and Mythic Dungeon tools will help you organize and plan your encounters easier. Sometimes they may be mandatory if you have a guild or pre-made group that wants to make sure the content is clear properly. Also, with these you can get the Radar.io add-on. Although the basic UI shows the same Mythic Plus score, Radar.io helps you see what dungeons you or your person of interest has cleared and at what level. Same for raid progression actually. For your mission table, use Covenant Mission Helper and TLDR missions to set up easy and quick missions. Venture Plan is a sketchy add-on that hasn't been updated in forever. I use it, but it might not work properly for everyone. To go with your basic UI, Deja Character Stats is what we use to show a more detailed representation of your character stats. Make sure you disable the item level option if you will also get O item level as well, which we have, since they both help give you more info about a character, but each one does their own thing better. Great Vault is a neat add-on when you do a lot of content and maybe on more alts, so you can see what your vault eligibility is from pretty much anywhere in the world. Similarly, Soul Ash Tooltip makes tracking your legendary upgrades easier, especially if you want to craft a lot of them, either on your main or multiple alts and maybe on different eye levels. And all this talk about alts cannot be done without saved instances. This neat information screen shows everything you have done on your alts in terms of content, dailies, even gold across your account if you click and hover over your alt's name. When going out in the world to do dailies and other such things, take World Quest list first to easily manage the world quests you want to do based on what rewards you are after. Zereth Mortis Puzzle Helper will literally do what the name says, all for the purpose of efficiency, while Handy Notes will give you a direction if you are hunting treasures, rares and other such things. Scrap is an add-on that sells your junks and grays automatically. This is a much bigger relief if you do daily stuff, which will have your bags fill with quite a bit of gold in actual junk you will actually want to sell. If you have watched our spec guides so far, you hear us talk about simming. Well, get Simulation Craft, and by typing in chat /simc, you'll get your character's details that you can copy and paste on raidbots.com for those accurate and updated sims. We have a video on it. If gold is your thing, or simply you want to efficiently sell basic stuff on the auction house, Trade Skill Master is a must. This is a bigger investment since it also requires a desktop app that will monitor the markets across realms in the background. If you want to set this up, go to tradeskillmaster.com and all the info and guiding you need to start your gold making journey will be there. And in closing, Minimap Button will make all those add-ons that by now are clogging up your minimap neatly organized into one little icon you can click and then browse them individually. And that's how you get a UI facelift and look proper when slapping bosses and players. Thank you to our patrons who are always supporting our content. Tough times, I am bold, I'm saving money on shampoo, it is what it is. Link down below if you want to check our Patreon page. And of course, don't forget to get CurseForge app, which is an amazing platform to actually download all of the add-ons that we talked about. Keep them updated, all super clean, super quick, super efficient. Just close it if you don't need it. It's amazing. Thank you once again, CurseForge app, for sponsoring this video. Thank you for watching the video. See you next time. Bye.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every every day, let me show you how. Cause still I play WoW, still I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still I play WoW.